you missed it, we were talking with Mia Adams-McSherry and Jill Wikahilo about beauty standards. And now joining the discussion today, we have the fabulous Amanda Watkins, a master's student here at Syracuse University, studying broadcast digital journalism, to talk about the issue more with us. Thank you, Amanda, and all of you guys for joining us. I'm so happy to talk to you all about this topic. Now, Amanda, we mentioned you are a master's student here studying broadcast digital journalism. Yes. Obviously, broadcast, you're on television, it's a very visual ideal, right? So are there ever any pressures for you to feel like you have to look a certain way or do things a certain way just to fit a standard?
Absolutely. I feel like almost the thinner the better in this industry. I feel like you have to look a certain way. You have to be a pretty girl on television news, where I feel like when we look at a lot of males on newscasts and reporters, they don't have the same standards that women do. And it's not just me. I've talked to it with a lot of girls, and they just feel like you always have to be pretty, you always have to have your hair and makeup done, and you always have to be just a little bit thinner to get that job instead of someone else.
Of course, and for me it's definitely the hair, right? Right now it's pasted down, but on other days it's definitely a throw out to hair. Now, when we talk about these beauty standards, and it's kind of like women are kind of expected to look the same way in different places, what do you think that does for women on the other side of the camera, looking at these women that are all almost feeling the need to conform to one ideal?
Well, I think it's important for little girls to be able to see a lot of different things on television, because when they see it on television, they tend to think that, oh, I have to be that, I have to be, I have to look this way, I have to look that way. So, that's my take on it, and, seeing people on television for the younger generation, our youth.
And I guess for me, I don't think we do a good job of letting young women know that who we look on TV, they have professional people making them look as beautiful as they are.
Makeup artists,
stylists, they have a whole team. And usually they have a fitness team that they work with too to make them look a certain way. And that's just television. If you go into print, there's airbrushing, there's photoshopping going on that is changing the way that these women look. So I think we need to do a better job of educating, media education.
Now, how can we do that? Because I think the average person does know that pictures are photoshopped, but at the same time, when someone looks at that picture that they know is photoshopped, it's still like, oh, why don't I look like that? So it's almost these compelling standards, like it's photoshopped, but you also almost don't know. So how do we even change that?
Well, I wish that they would go without some of the photoshopping so that we can see them with real people. I remember saying, if I was ever a fashion designer, I would not have the girls be practically a hanger walking down. I would have real women with real bodies modeling these clothes, because if it looks good on them, it's going to look good on you. So I wish if everyone could stop photoshopping or this, then we could see them in the real light and be like, no, they still are gorgeous people, they're still beautiful, but everyone has flaws. That's what I wish. That probably won't happen, but I mean, that would be one step, hopefully, that could change things.
I think you should lead that campaign, Amanda. And I'll follow you there. Now, we talked about, you mentioned models that are often really thin, rail thin models. And in this country, we have a huge diet talk, and Jill, I remember speaking to you and saying that you don't engage in that diet talk. But there's also problems with health in this country also. So what should the talk be when we're discussing issues of health and body? Where do we draw the line?
Well, it's so funny you say that. So we have an obesity issue, and yet the diet company is $1 billion industry that keeps getting richer and richer. So obviously the way we're talking isn't helping our obesity issues,
exactly.
Right? The way that we're talking about fad diets. So for me, it's talking about overall health and wellness and what that means, and not only physically being healthy, but mentally and spiritually and emotionally. I mean, we make food choices based on how we're feeling the majority of time, but we don't have a mind-body consciousness or awareness that we're even doing that. And then we don't even address how certain foods have additives in that have the sort of addictive qualities. And so we don't even have those conversations. So what I try to do when I'm around women who are self-deprecating and put their bodies down and put themselves down, I call them on it. You know, I just and I do it loving. You know, I try to do it compassionately.
So what do you say?
I'm not
What's
like,
the
hey,
compassionate way?
well, I just said, you know, Jane, you're beautiful. Why would you even say that? You're perfect the way you are. Or where is that coming from? You know, where is that really coming from? And so I just try to own it in the moment instead of just brushing it off and brushing it off.
Yeah, you know, it's funny that you say that because there have been celebrities coming out talking about, you know, thin, people that you would think are fit, like people like Nick Cannon. You know, he had his whole issues with health, and he said that he had to stop eating fast food. So you wouldn't think that someone that looks what we think of as healthy really loves fast food and could have been causing him health problems.
Sure.
So that's definitely
But
a
we're
point.
not even talking about why are we just eating fast food? We're not even talking about what food, real, even whole foods. We're not even addressing that our society is just going faster and faster and faster, and that what are we valuing in our society? We base this all on celebrities and what they say. I mean, that's what's going to shift the conversation is what do we prioritize as what we look up to. We prioritize it based on celebrities.
Exactly. And when we talk, when you're saying that we need to prioritize, what should be the priority? Are looks important? Should we just kind of eradicate the whole conversation about looks, or do we just need to change the conversation?
I think we should probably change. I mean, I appreciate good-looking people. I appreciate people who put time and energy into being healthy and working out. I appreciate that. But I also don't look at other people who may not have the time or energy and think any less of them. I mean, we're all equal. Just some people and another thing, I can look at somebody and they may honestly be blessed with genetics, and I'm thinking, wow, look at the time they put in the gym, and they really don't. But I think just embracing people for who they genuinely are, that should be the key. But sadly, I don't think that's the case.
Yeah. Well, ladies, this is a conversation that I could talk to you all about all day, but I just want to take the time to thank you for joining us and really discussing this issue. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Now, if you guys have missed any part of this show, feel free to check it out at www.sassclass.com. And remember, you can't tell history without telling her story. Continue to watch, and thank you so much for joining us.